Welcome to the February edition of the Military Outreach Group. Thank you all for being here. To start out the day, I'd like to at least say thank you to all of our sponsors, which include Lexington Medical Center, Cool Care Heating and Air, Blue Cross Blue Shield, AARP, U of SC, Veteran and Military Affairs, First Command, the State Fair, Boyer Construction, the Doubletree, USAA, Coca-Cola, the Columbia Metropolitan, Grace Outdoors, Midlands Biz, Sign It Quick, Sound and Image, and Sun Solutions. We appreciate their support of this great organization. I'd like to point out, too, how great it is that we have such a strong community and a strong chamber. Our chamber and this organization act as strong advocates and champions for our military. Susan McPherson and the rest of the Columbia Chamber staff and volunteers, they work tirelessly to strengthen the relationship between the community and the military, working to support their families and retaining and growing the local military footprint. A few of the items that are on our initiatives for this year include onboarding of senior leadership, both military and civilian, serving as liaisons with legislative members and elected officials, serving as liaisons with the South Carolina Military Base Task Force, advocating for the military mission and families, connecting local Department of Defense contractors and businesses to enhance relationships, and connecting military organizations such as USO, AUSA, ESGR with local community reps, and to reinforce the partnerships and enhance support for our men and women in uniform. Today, we will start out with the pledge and then move on to Miss Laura Lott Moore, who will be doing the Star Spangled Banner. After that, Susan McPherson, the VP of Public Policy and Military Affairs for the Chamber, will take over and do the rest of the introductions. So if you would not mind, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Laura, please.
So good afternoon. My name is Laura Lott Moore. I am with Lexington Medical Center, and it's an honor to be standing here with you guys today as the presenting sponsor for this group. The mission of Lexington Medical Center is very simple. It's to provide quality health services that meet the needs of our community. And we understand that one of the most important communities that we serve here in the Midlands is our military. As I look around the room, I see a group of people that are committed to the same mission of serving, connecting, and advocating for our military and our families. I'd like to thank the Columbia Chamber for leading this initiative and allowing us to be a part of it. And I want to thank everyone here for volunteering your time and all that you do to ensure this remains one of the most military-friendly communities in America. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Laura, and thank you each and every one of you for being here today. When you look around the room, I've said it 100 times and I'll say it always, this is a great American defense community, and we are so appreciative of every one of you being here. You all have a role to play, and we certainly appreciate that and like to capitalize on that. And so without further ado, we're going to try a new thing. For those of you who have been with us before, you know when we try to connect with Washington, it's always a little bit of a fuzzy line. There's a lot of synergy in that. I mean, you know, you think about it, we always have a fuzzy line to Washington, right, Alex? So anyway, today we have recorded Suzanne Miller, and she is going to give us an update on what's happening in Washington to complete with the MilCon construction budgets and some of the other things that are going on. So we're going to roll the tape on that, let you watch the video, and then we'll move on with the program. Any of our officers, if you have anything, comments to make with regarding what Suzanne talks about in the Washington update, we would love for you to do that. And then at the end of the program, we're going to take a minute and just go around the room and let everybody introduce themselves so you'll all be able to make the connections and do the networking that you want to do. Okay? Thank you. You ready, Austin? Thank you, sir.
Hi from Washington. Suzanne Edwards with Cassie & Associates. I'm sorry I can't be there in person with you today or live via Zoom, but we thought this might be a little bit easier because of some of the connection problems we've had the last few times. I will have a PowerPoint that Susan will distribute after the event, but I can't figure out how to do the PowerPoint and record myself at the same time. And so I just wanted to give a highlight of a few things going on in DC. I will tune in and listen to the Facebook Live tomorrow, so if there are additional questions, I will either hear them then or I can get them from Susan and her team afterwards. So in Washington, we're kind of in the ready, set, go season. I'm sure the congressional staffs will give more specific updates on their own timelines, but we are entering what is the process side of things here in Washington. In the coming weeks, quickly coming House first, then Senate, we will have deadlines approaching for the Defense Authorization Bill, and then the appropriations bills deadlines. Of most interest to this community would be the defense and MilCon appropriations deadlines, but I want to spend a minute talking about community-directed spending as well, which is what we're calling earmarks these days. So typically the president's budget, just while we're thinking of in terms of timeline, typically the president's budget comes over around the first Monday in February. There is a delay on that. There was some delays on passbacks to OMB. And so we are expecting the president's budget to be released on March 9th. What we don't know is whether there's going to be a fight-up with that, with the fight-up as 5-year defense plan. And it projects out where we think MilCon is going to be of particular interest to our base communities. And so we will keep an eye on that and report out. I know it's often difficult, and I appreciate our base leadership's partnership, that not all this information is always public. And so we will see what's coming our way in terms of military construction. And at that time when the budget's released, and it'll help inform our strategy going forward for appropriations. And then we're going to see markup season, as I indicated. A couple of things I just wanted to flag, and I'm mindful of our time, is that we do expect there to be some significant budget pressure going on at DoD right now. Because of the change in Congress, I think folks are probably tracking. The House Republicans have pledged to pass a budget, but can they? Budgets tend to be partisan documents. Will Democrats vote for it in the House? Fiscal hawks are going to want to mark the budget to fiscal year 22 levels, but what does that do to our DoD budget? And I think that's what we're going to have to wait and see. Defense hawks will never agree to DoD funding at fiscal year 22 levels, but there's still going to need to be a path forward on negotiations in the House and Senate, so we'll keep an eye on that going forward. The other thing you've probably heard folks talk about is the debt ceiling. What does that mean? Mid-June is the deadline for having to raise the debt ceiling, similar to what happened in 2011, which this community is really familiar with, which was sequestration. They gave us the Budget Control Act. We have a Republican House, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic President. Lots of the current players were also involved in that BCA of 2011. House Republicans do want to see some Florida budget caps to control spending, but you still got a Democratic Senate to deal with going forward. What I'm going to predict, my wild prediction is going to be a long legislative year. I don't anticipate we'll be in regular order for appropriations with things passed by the end of the fiscal year in September, so we should just plan for that going forward. And a final tool I want to touch on is congressionally directed spending. The House Republican Caucus has agreed that they will do congressionally directed spending, but each member's offices are going to set their own priorities and deadlines, and some folks won't ask for it at all in our delegation. The one flag that we did here on Friday is that House Republicans will not be allowing congressionally directed spending in the defense bill. Last year, there were only about 9 to 10 actual, quote, earmarked CDSs in the House. Everything else is kind of taken care of through the process. They're also not allowing earmarks in the labor HHS space, which can be challenging for communities and partners like the Columbia Chamber, who really depend on labor HHS earmarks to do economic development and economic impact things. So we get to see the rules come out. We will track that. We'll let you know as they're happening, but I want to make sure that the community is following that. But that doesn't mean we don't have tools like military construction, congressionally directed spending, transportation, congressionally directed spending, and possibly others to use as we help support the base inside and outside the gates. The Senate is taking earmark / congressionally directed spending requests in those accounts, and so we are strategizing internally about the best ways to do that as chamber and chamber partners, and we'll keep you apprised going forward. The final thing I want to mention is we've talked in the past about the Defense Community Infrastructure Program and the Defense Manufacturing Community Program. The suspense on those is about to be released, so you may hear of some partner agencies inside and outside the bases who are looking at those funds that are distributed through the Office of Local Defense Community Cooperation. as ways to do basically off-base enhancements and partnerships. Those can be anything from STEM and local elementary schools, wastewater issues, energy efficiency, climate smart technologies, road improvements, building a pipeline, education pipeline, building workforce pipeline. So I'll touch on kind of some of the criteria of those in my PowerPoint, but I just wanted to flag that additionally going forward. It's something that's going on in the background, not just on the Hill, but in the agency. I appreciate your time. I'm a little over 5 minutes. Sorry, Susan. I look forward to hearing the rest of the meeting. Thanks, guys.
And as always, there is never a shortage of key activities that are going on the Hill. Suzanne is our constant conduit to not only our congressional delegation, but also with all of our leaders in Washington to make sure that as we are trying to continue to protect and promote the missions here in Columbia, they help us, and not just Columbia, but South Carolina, they help us with managing the feedback to our Washington leaders. So it's a great communication circle that we have, and it works very well for us. We can support our military folks a lot of times to supplement what they are already doing up on Capitol Hill. So we're thankful for that. I know that a lot of the language and terminology is something that we as civilians are not always familiar with, but I do see that our military guys are appreciative. Hey, General Horner. And so we do. So anyway, it is a great connection. It does great work for us, and we're going to continue to network with that. And I want to bring up William Smith now to just give us a report from Senator Graham's office.
Thanks, Susan. Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to see y'all. Let's bring y'all greetings from Senator Graham. Got a few things we're going to put out. I always love going right after Miss Edwards because she said almost everything I'm about to say. Last time I got her, though, because she wasn't able to connect. But the NDA form for FY24 is out and is due on March 17th by 1700. If you would like to access it, please get with me after this, and I'll get you the link to go to get to it. The budget is anticipated to come out on 9 March with DOD justification materials coming out on the 13th. This will begin the annual appropriations process for our office. We have not released our appropriations form that will come at a later date. If anyone wishes to submit an appropriations form, they will need to enter their contact information on the Senator Graham's website at lgraham.senate.gov and look for the appropriations request that's under the Issues tab. We recently co-sponsored Senator Boozman's Military Spouse Hiring Act of 2023 to amend the tax code to expand the Work Opportunity Tax Credit to include military spouses and incentivizing businesses to hire military spouses. Our office is always available to assist with any caseworks of federal nature. I can tell you, just as a hint, if you're planning on traveling overseas anytime soon, please look at your passport because that is an issue right now. But other than that, that's all I have. And if you have any questions for me, I'll be around afterwards for a while. Thank you.
Sorry if I jumped the gun, Susan. Good afternoon, everybody. By the time Suzanne gives her briefing and then William, there's really not much left for me to say. So again, the President's budget on 9 March. We have recently introduced the Military Child Educational Freedom Act, which allows for tax-deferred savings accounts to cover homeschooling. We have reintroduced the Parris Island Protection Act, which would prohibit the use of any federal funds to close Parris Island. No studies, no looking at it, no thinking about it. So we're hopeful that'll pass. Yesterday was our deadline for NDAA asks. We have to have our ask to the committee on Thursday, so I hope you got your requests in. And lastly, we are supporting additional funding for a National Guard Readiness Center at Joint Base Charleston. So Congress Wilson served in the military 32 years, and so we're big supporters of the Guard. But anything we can do for y'all, please check your passports. He's not joking. It's a mess. And we'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
And y'all might have seen in the paper this week that Congressman Clyburn and his office has been working very hard on the broadband issue. So they were not able to be here today, but they send their regrets and well wishes. And also Brianna Bateman from Senator Scott's office. As you know, he has been quite on the media circuit here these days. So they are running pretty strong too, and said to send you their wishes, and they will be here at the next meeting. So we appreciate that. I don't know if when you take a look around the room and you see the outstanding military leadership that we have here today and support, I don't go to a lot of other communities like Charleston and some of the other bases down around the coast, but I have been told that we are so blessed here because we have our fort, we have our guard, we have all of our units here, and even we have the Readiness Reserve, and we also have participants from Shaw and Army Central over across the river. So it's just a great group to bring everybody together so that we can share all this information. So my hat's off to all of y'all. I appreciate that. Right now I'm going to call up General Jones from the National Guard. If he acts up, we have General McCarty back in the back, so we'll all make sure and follow him closely.
So real quick, March the 1st is National Oreo Day, right?
Right.
And as y'all know, and as Oreo, I'm Big Cookie 06, right? So we get the installations and we hand out people. So Susan just took care of you.
Oh,
Here's
my
your cookies
favorite.
right here. And for my favorite ESTR person in the entire world, Jennifer, this is for you. I'll bring that to you. So hey, and thank you for the kind comments here, Susan. But I'll tell you, I think we all know this. Who's been in uniform? There's no greater honor than serving your country. There's no better place to do it than right here in South Carolina. So on behalf of the Adjutant General, it's just good to be in front of you and just talk to you just a few minutes about what your Guard is doing. Something always happens to me, though, before I come to this event. If you remember the last time, my wife and I got in an argument over telling Jonah the whale the story there. But listen, before I got here, I traveled down to my alma mater, the Citadel, to speak there at Johnson Haygood Stadium, home of the Citadel Bulldogs, right? So we have an armory in there, in the stadium. So I drive down there to speak, and I park in the front. And as I'm parking, I notice this campus security car just comes slowly by me. And as soon as he passes by me, I got a call from Joe Trez, who's the chief of staff at the Citadel. And he said, Jeff, Joe Trez, you cannot park in front of the stadium. We are using that today. I said, okay, sir. So I went over to the Alumni Center right across the street. And then once again, I saw the little public safety guy. He'd have been a terrible drug surveillance car, you know. He just comes right by me, and ring, ring, ring. Hello, Jeff, you cannot park at the Holiday Alumni Center. The Citadel's using this today. I said, gotcha, sir. I travel over to the visitor side, Susan. Here comes the public safety guy again, right? Ring, ring, ring. Joe Trez says, you cannot park there. The Citadel is using that today. I said, sir, where can I park here at Johnson Haygood Stadium? He said, Jeff, you need to park somewhere the Citadel's not going to use. I said, okay, I'll park in the end zone, because it's obviously the Citadel does not use the end zone at Johnson Haygood Stadium. He hung up on me, called me back 2 minutes later. He said, that was good. That was good. But, hey, listen, your Guard is busy as always executing our 3 core functions. Our first priority, and it's the same for the Army Reserve, no greater priority than providing deployable soldiers. And Q's going to talk the air piece, so I'll leave that to him. But that remains our number one priority. On the Army side, as we speak right now, 1,310 South Carolina Guardsmen are serving in over 5 continents around the world, including North America. Great news, our 1st to 111th Aviation is returning from the Sinai Peninsula, where they are part of the Multinational Force Observers, going all the way back to the Camp David Accord. Our National Guards are a part of ensuring that peace agreement maintains. We also are bringing home our 108th Chemical, who has done work out at Fort Bliss providing COVID support. Our 263rd Army Air and Missile Defense Command is about to come home from Germany, and their shooter battalion is still, as we speak today, providing coverage over the air of the National Capital Region. 90% of our Signal Brigade remains deployed as we speak right now. Our Cyber Battalion is up at Fort Meade, Maryland. Our brigade headquarters and our Signal Battalion within that brigade, they are currently in Kuwait right now doing great things. The 178th Engineer Battalion staff is on the southwest border, and also 2 infantry companies from the 218th down in Charleston or in Kuwait. So we are gainfully employed, and they're out there representing South Carolinians at their best. This summer, we will deploy our 218th headquarters to the Horn of Africa, along with an engineer company, a signal company, and our medical company will be going to Kosovo. So it doesn't end. We think by the end of the year, it will be right at about 1,900 citizen soldiers from South Carolina around the world. So proud of them. Again, Q's going to talk the Air Guard piece, but you know, just as a resident of this area, hasn't it been great seeing those F-16s out at you know, I think it's so great because as you fly out of there and you're in that aircraft, you look out and you see those great Swamp Fox fighters, and you're reminded that everything we do is underpinned by the greatest Air Force in the world. So it's just been really awesome having you out there, Q. Our second priority is providing disaster response, civil support response. We are laser focused on hurricane preparation right now. Also, something that our State Guard, such an important part of our team, is engaged in right now is covering down on cyber response activities. We have exercised them since our last meeting, and we're standing ready to support any entity in South Carolina that may need that type of cyber support. And we just recently fielded the newest Lakota helicopter up at the flight facility in Greenville. This provides enhanced capability for search and rescue and for casualty evacuation. So that's a big story up there. And third, and most really, I think when it applies to us, is what we do to add value to South Carolina as your partner. And right now, we're doing that with our partners every day. You cannot have a better partner than the Chamber of Commerce anywhere in America than what we have here in Columbia. The USO, what they do, ESGR, Jennifer, everything that y'all do is so important. Our Youth Challenge and Job Challenge program remain focused on serving kids at risk. You may have heard that we had an incident early out there this year. We remain 100% out there to giving those kids the love and support and attention that they need so that they have a fair chance in life. We're very proud of that program out there. And then we also have, again, the Star-based Swamp Fox program that we have out there that really the Air Guard has, but the STEM education. Our National Guard conference is coming up in Myrtle Beach. It's at the Myrtle Beach Hilton. My wife told me, she said, the towels at that hotel are so fluffy, I don't know if we're going to be able to close our suitcase. I said, well, you'll be stealing it, but not me. I'm just kidding, sir. I promise you. I will not be stealing anything on behalf of the South Carolina National Guard. But that's where we are. Usually I wrap up by saying thank you. I'd like to ask for your help, though, and I would say that my brothers and my sisters and the other components, too. Where we are right now in recruiting, in the South Carolina National Guard, we have 104 recruiters who bring it every day. And just the fact is that we are struggling to find and to get into and reach and inspire young people to serve right now. We cannot do it by ourselves. If you're a veteran, we need you to tell your story. We need you to talk to young people. We need you to talk to community leaders. We need you to help us sell the importance of military service. And for those of us who are around these young people, encourage them, support them, and when they go to those great ROTC programs, like one of the best in the nation there at the University of South Carolina, we don't lose faith in them when they get through that program and when they step out on the line as second lieutenants. Right now, if you look at it, 21%, 1 out of every 5 young people right now are even eligible for military service. Propensity for military service right now, about 9%. And as y'all know, it's tough right now, and we're all in it together. So you can help us. Tell your story. Encourage them to serve, and don't lose faith in them once they do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And when he's saying tell your story, also, if you have children in school or you have churches or you work with the local, any organization, anytime you have an opportunity to bring out one of our Army recruiters or a veteran so that they can tell their story, you will help us spread the word about what a great opportunity this is. And it will help fulfill lives, and it will help us as we move forward in our military and also building careers and opportunities for our young people. So it is a great career. Speaking of great career, I'm going to call up General Harder, and I want to do a special welcome. This is his first time that he has joined us, and so he is stationed out at Fort Jackson. He came to us from the Pentagon, so he has amazing insights from his worldly experience. So, General Harder, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about the 81st Reserves. We love you.
Thanks, Susan. Well, hey, good afternoon, everybody. Bob Harder, I'm the commanding general of your... Oh, my gosh, and I see Ed Bell. That totally threw me off there. We chew dirt together downrange. It's great to see you. Sergeant Major. But Bob Harder, commanding general, your commanding general of the 81st Readiness Division, stationed right here at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I don't have cookies. I didn't go to the Citadel. I did go to Virginia Tech, which has delivered Shane Beamer to the University of South Carolina. So I'll take some credit for that, right? Van, good to see you. Jeff, I wish you had a little more passion and energy. A little tough to follow here. National Guard Conference in Myrtle Beach, of course it is, right? Hey, but listen, so on behalf of the Army Reserve, right? It's awesome to be here. I kind of represent General Jody Daniels, the Chief of the Army Reserve. I am, in my headquarters is kind of the senior organization, not only in South Carolina for the Army Reserve, but kind of in the southeast of the United States. What your 81st Readiness Division does for both the Army Reserve, the Army, and the nation, right, is we manage kind of all the maintenance and facilities in 9 states and Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands on behalf of the Army Reserve. So we get after maintenance of all the equipment in our shops, trucks, you name it, weapon systems, and then all the Army Reserve facilities that we have across that footprint. Just here in South Carolina, we have 15 facilities, 71 units, 3,800 soldiers, several brigade headquarters. We got an airborne brigade that frequently jumps out of probably Air Guard C-17s and C-130s out of Charleston. And so they're getting after it every single day for the team here. I would tell you, I'd echo what Jeff said with regards to recruiting. That's probably where we could really use the help of the team here, right? Being an American soldier, other than probably being, a father and a husband, has been the greatest honor of my life. And we have done, we get in the dirt, we do some hard things sometimes, right? But it's just, there's nothing better. And so I would encourage, and there's a lot of competing narratives out there. So I would encourage all of those here, if you have young men and women that are ready to lace them up, please send them our way, because we're going to we treat them as cherished treasure. We're going to take great care of them, and they're going to come out better Americans. Just the other day, I was in an Advance Auto getting some stuff from my truck, and I was talking to a young kid behind the counter. Seemed like a great kid, looked pretty fit. I said, "What are you doing, behind the counter here at Advance Auto? You interested in joining the Army? I got a spot for you." And he goes, "I don't know, is it hard?" I said, "Hell yeah." I said, "That's why you want to do it." Yeah, that's exactly what we need, right? Exactly what we need. You want to keep making drinks at Starbucks? Have at it. We need baristas, right? My current aide de camp is a former barista, so awesome. But she chose the soldier path. So I would ask that anybody out there encourage those young men and women to come our way. So General Daniels, my boss, her priorities, right? 3-star Chief of the Army Reserve, readiness of our formations, which we're getting after, and of course recruiting. Let me tell you why both of those are so important just here in South Carolina. Got a call last week. There's a truck company in South Carolina that's getting ready to head to Poland, Army Reserve. And so we're getting that team ready. We're getting their equipment ready. Those young men and women are going to find themselves in a very different world here in about 3 months, but they're going to be ready. They're going to get after it. And those are South Carolinians that are going to be doing, the duty of the nation and wearing the nation's colors. So be proud of what you have here in South Carolina. I will tell you, with the Army Reserve, what we provide here to this footprint is not only, like I said, we have about 3,700 soldiers assigned here, but we have we're a federal force that operates here in the state, and we have some incredible talent that we would like to make sure that we pair up with the community. I've got Phil Goldsmith here, who's the lead of our Army Reserve Private-Public Partnership Office, so he participates in all these, so wherever we can bring skill sets to bear with what the community needs and also get soldier service, we do that. My senior lawyer in my headquarters, the colonel, is also the Attorney General for the state of Arkansas and the former Lieutenant Governor of Arkansas. So we have all kinds of different capabilities that we can bring to bear and partner here with South Carolina. So I think, I guess I'll probably leave with April 23rd is the 115th birthday of the United States Army Reserve. We'll be doing a little bit of a fitness challenge that week. I'll make sure I get it out to the team here. Kevin Schwaber's already said he's in, right? So we'll do like one day we'll do 115 push-ups, one day we'll do 115, leg tucks for Jeff. Jeff and I will be knocking those things out. We'll do, and I'll make sure we share it all, and then we're going to do try to get some more community events involved here on the base. Last thing I'll leave you with, Minuteman scholarships. And my teammates in the Guard have the same thing. We have this incredible program where we pay for young men and women to go to college, go get a master's degree, go get a law degree, pick up we're not using all of these. We used like 1/3 of ours last year. And of course, you got to serve in the Army Reserve. That's part of it. We feel like we're not getting the word out. So I've told my team to flood the zone. I'm trying to get out. I'll get out there to South Carolina, make sure I linked up with the PMS there. I'm getting out to JROTC. But I would ask that in addition to encouraging service, please spread the word that the Army Reserve and the National Guard have these scholarships that are just absolutely incredible. And it puts young men and women on a great path, gives them a great skill set. So that's all I got. I appreciate it. It's awesome to be here. Susan, thanks for inviting me. And I look forward to meeting with you and working with all of you. Thank you.
And thank you, sir. We appreciate you being here. And just to make you feel at home, Katie has an Oreo cookie outfit that I'm sure will fit you just right. Isn't that right, Katie? So we will make you one of our own. I won't be there on the 23rd doing push-ups, but I will be on the sideline. I can help cheer for both of y'all. So thank you for that. Thank you for being here and for your enthusiasm and your passion and your leadership. And, when we're talking about the reserves, keep in mind that these are the folks that are our neighbors. They're in our churches. They're in our homes. And when all of these folks are deploying somewhere else, it's up to us to reach out and say, how can I help? To the families and the spouses, because when one serves, everybody serves. And so that is a part of what we do as a Great American Defense Community is we reach out, we embrace them, and we help them move forward. And then we celebrate when they all come back home safely. So thank you, sir. Thank you all for what you do. And now when we get all those folks recruited, Colonel Hutton comes over and he trains them up right. So I'm going to ask him to come up and tell us about basic training at Fort Jackson and all their great programs. Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon. Hey, just real quick, if you have a chance today, just think a thought or say a prayer. We laid to rest Command Sergeant Major retired Anderson. If you've been in the community for a few years, great leader, Fort Jackson Hall of Fame member, one of our former post Command Sergeant Majors. So just put his family in your thoughts, if you would. First thing I'd like to do is thank all of you for all the help from Victory Block Leave. As you know, we just finished our winter exodus in January. We sent out about 4,300 soldiers. We brought them all back. And we couldn't do it with the great partnership of this community, from the Columbia Airport to the USO, clear up to Charlotte and everything else. So really appreciate everybody's help there. Future Soldier Prep Course. You might have heard myself or General Kelly talk about it in the past. It's one of the things we've got going on at Fort Jackson. We bring in qualified soldiers. We get them to be even better versions of themselves. And we actually got orders in January to expand that course. So as we look at our recruiting challenges out there, if you see a young person that doesn't think that they might have what it takes to join the Army, still encourage them to talk about it. Tell them to go to their recruiter and talk about the Future Soldier Prep Course, because it goes for all of our components. We have all components of the Army going through the Future Soldier Prep Course. And right now, our last class just pulled down about a 97% success rate and improving their categories. So it's really working, and we really appreciate all the support on that. Coming up in March, we got a couple big things going on out on the installation. On March 10th, Command Sergeant Major Tavernier will relinquish responsibility and pass it to Command Sergeant Major Oaks. So we'll have a new post-Command Sergeant Major out there. If you're available, I'd encourage you to come. And then the following week, on March 14th, we're going to host our annual Industry Day that's focused on initial entry training. So if you know those industries out there or businesses that are interested in the training environment and how to do that, just tell them to Google Fort Jackson Industry Day. They can register. If not, get in touch with Susan. Between her and I, we'll get them registered. But it's a great chance for them, if they're looking for business in the training industry, to do that here at Fort Jackson. And so great opportunity there. And then the next thing I want to talk about is, as I'm going about duties here as the deputy commander, everybody keeps asking me when Fort Jackson is going to be open. Fort Jackson is open. Please spread the word. All right? It is open. All we're going to do is scan your driver's license, make sure you don't have a warrant for your arrest, and then you're on to go to the golf course, water park, whatever. The water park will be open in May, so I just encourage everybody. Fort Jackson is open. We do have to check your ID. That's the only caveat out there. And then the final thing is just as we move into the summer, what we expect is you always hear about the summer surge coming. It's going to be a steady flow, really, from about April all the way through next fall based on the Future Soldier Prep course. So you won't see that surge of folks at the airport. You're going to see a steady flow starting in about April and keep us in business as we go. So thank you. And if you got any questions about any of those programs, hit me up afterwards.
It's okay. Sometimes it takes a village, right? So thank you. Thank you, Colonel Hutton, too. We appreciate all of what y'all are doing. If you have an opportunity where you want to do something with the fort or you want to invite them to an event, if you want to, call me. I'll be glad to help you out, put you in contact with Varan and Public Affairs out at the fort. There are a lot of great opportunities coming up all the way from St. Patrick's Day to Industry Day, and we do have flyers back at the back for that, so if you're interested in that. We also have a lot of that information on the website on the Columbia Chamber, so you can go and look at that link. So always happy to help make that interface. They're out in the community, they're in the schools, they're doing so many good things, and we appreciate that. They're definitely open.
Marginal my job.
So thank you. We're just going to leave that. So anyway, there are a lot of great opportunities that we can work with y'all and support y'all, and we appreciate that. We're happy to do that. We even have a group going out for night infiltration training tonight, and so that is going to be a true eye-opener for a lot of our folks. They invite us on a periodic basis, and we'll make sure and share the word so we can get as many of y'all out there as we can. Thank you. Okay.
No jokes. Sir, I threatened Susan last time that I'm not going to follow the boss anymore, so sorry. New guy, got stuck with it. I'm going to do what I continue to do, though, and take every opportunity that I have public speaking to try and get myself fired. So though I don't have jokes, I would point out that, I didn't pay to go to school to get hazed, right? That seems still ludicrous to me. Just go ahead and do it for free at the Air Force Academy, which is painful anyway. It's just like Air Force, though, right? We evolved, right? We evolved. There's two-dimensional, right? And then you just evolve. It's an evolution. It's an evolution. Yep. Good afternoon. It's great to see everybody. I think the crowd is growing, which is amazing to see. I'm Q Carter, and I'm the commander of the 169th Fighter Wing. That's your South Carolina National Guard out of McIntyre. And obviously the biggest thing, we talked about it already, is we are back home at McIntyre, which is for us thrilling and excited. Almost, virtually, almost. The alert detachment and the alert function is actually still at Columbia. We'll be back home in our entirety here in the next couple weeks. So you will still see a couple of airplanes periodically as you drive by or see them take off. But we will all be back home at McIntyre. I cannot communicate to the community loud enough how grateful we are for the support of putting those fighters inside the community, making you listen to them, and seeing what we did for the last 7 months. To put it in context of what it means for us, that avoided a 8-month displacement for our airmen right before this year, where we're about to deploy in 2 different chunks, nearly 40% of our force this year, right? So we would have been kind of back to back to back. To be able to do that here in Columbia is outstanding. So thank you for that. We're nearly at the end. As we reset back to McIntyre, we are on path to what Brother just said, to opening this up. Now, we don't have a water park and we don't have a bowling alley or a golf course, but we are on path and on trajectory. I'm flipping every lever that I can flip as the installation commander to open this, to open us, the military apparatus, back in the community. How can we connect to the community and build this into our younger generations so they don't have the opportunity that we did when we were kids going to the Nellis Air Show or having that access. So we will do that same thing. And like I communicated last time, again, just reinforcing it, as we reset back to McIntyre and reset to our priorities of readiness and reset to the installation for both myself and the fighter wing, but also for my brother Jay McElveen and the Apaches and the cyber elements that are all at McIntyre. We are resetting our operations back to McIntyre. We are completely committed to engaging inside of the community, specifically in our youth programs. So again, where you have career day, where there is opportunities at adventure, where there are pieces where you need us to be, we will execute there. Starbase is back up and running. We're going to do the Top Gun drill meet again this year at the end of the month, so we'll be executing those functions as well. In the fall, long-range planning, you can expect a STEM day out in McIntyre, and many more of these things to follow to engage, right? So please take advantage of that. You hear things inside of the community that you think would be useful, let us know. Homer, Diesel, Kenny, would you stand up? And so, like, if you have one of those things right now, anyone who says Colonel Craig Hummer, Colonel Diesel, Brian in the back, and Senior Master Sergeant Kenny Monroe, you guys have seen them before, but they'll be able to touch base me. We've got cards, and we'll be able to connect with you for any of those types of things. Kind of pivoting inside of the structure at McIntyre from the military aspect of what's going on. So we've talked about that reset. The Army side of McIntyre, Colonel Jay McElveen and our Apaches, right? All 24 brand new AH-64 Echo Apaches, and we've kind of bragged on them before. What they are doing for the United States Army, not just the South Carolina National Guard, with those Apaches and advanced tactics, given the national security environment that we're in, is amazing. And so we're continuing to focus on that, continue to build that out inside of McIntyre with future growth opportunities, potentials, and initiatives given investment of the United States Army inside of the South Carolina Army National Guard in McIntyre for unmanned aerial systems, continuing munition storage facilities to be able to take advantage of the ecosystem that is unique to South Carolina and how we can train in those combat platforms. Equivalently, right on the air side, still focused acutely on our recapitalization efforts out of the F-16. Right, it is amazing. We fly the newest F-16s in the Air National Guard. They're 30 years old. In 7 years, are going to be the oldest airplanes in the United States Air Force. We have the most robust training airspace in access compared to any other individual state. So convincing the United States Air Force and Congress to make that generational investment that benefits all of us, not just the fighter wing, right, but that investment inside of the community that comes with the sustainment of billions of dollars of investment of hardware, of a continuation of that expertise that is nested inside of our community, and then all of the support contracts and money flows and relevancy that comes for the next 25 years is actually our collective objective. That's not mine. I'm not going to fly this. I think this is ours as a community. We've had great support from the delegation to lay some of that groundwork, and we are in the finishing phases, and you'll see some more broader efforts of that. We are swimming upstream, though. That budget is tight, and the irony of having relatively new jets is actually a barrier for us. So we've got to overcome that barrier, change the calculus, and asking for that collective support and the reinforcement of that support inside of our community and our civic leadership. Operationally, I had kind of touched on this before. We've got 2 upcoming deployments, and so we teased this one out last time I was with you, specifically for employers out here. So we are going to mobilize in about 30 days 225 or so of our guardsmen there. So they're going to be activated involuntarily, and we are tasked this time around, instead of deploying off to the Middle East or the Pacific or to Europe. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Apologies. We are actually not leaving. So we are going to execute presidential support, and we're going to execute it here from McIntyre. So we're going to run into not quite 24/7 ops. We're going to be running full spectrum operations, executing presidential support from home station. So you will see your guardsmen that have already said, hey, sorry, I can't be here because I got to be at work. And then you're going to maybe see them at soccer games or at a T-ball game or at dinner, right? They're not making it up. So we're working, we're executing. This is very, very much non-standard, but that is occurring. Inside the fall, we're going to fill. I've been pulling hair out over the last couple of weeks, and we're probably going to deploy about a third of the wing, maybe a little bit just under the wing, outside of what I just described. This fall, we'll begin our training sequence this summer to a fabulous location in the Middle East. And that will be an enduring mission, a relatively large scale that's going on. So as we come back to McIntyre, though it was great meeting the community of Columbia, there is readiness, execution training that we just can't not accomplish at CAE, that we have to accomplish at home in your own house. And so we're resetting into that because the nation is calling. The first round is next month, and then we're going to be back into harm's way by the end of the summertime. And so we are resetting into that. Busy times, but all good things. This glass is more than half full for sure. And again, I can't thank the community enough for what you guys have done. Any questions or any opportunities where we can be of assistance, please let me know. And thanks for the ads. New sim, new building coming soon. Breaking ground this summer, new additions to the runway. So appreciate all that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And the good thing, too, about what they're talking about when they're talking about construction out at Fort Jackson at the runway and all that, those are local contractors doing local work. So it's putting our people together out in the community, building the economic impact here, putting our folks to work, doing great things. So we thank you for that. Colonel Meister, what a group you have. Colonel Meister is responsible. He's the Columbia Recruiting Battalion, and he has had some great audibles already. So, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And sir, just wanted to say, go Army, beat Air Force. I know we didn't get you this year, but we'll be back next year, and we'll keep that trophy up at West Point where it belongs. But yeah, recruiting, we've discussed the challenges. I think here in South Carolina, we're starting to build momentum through many of the challenges that we've been facing. And, you know, a large part of that is the tremendous support we've received from the community around us. Couldn't really ask to be part of a better community of individuals that are supportive of our mission and supportive of the military. Colonel Hootenann mentioned the Future Soldier Prep Course. That's been a significant part of what's helped us to increase our throughput and our momentum. We're to the point now where we really have no limits on the individuals that we can put into that program. And as he mentioned, we have near total success with the soldiers that go through that course. So we're able to address both some of the initial physical challenges that some of our young people face and also the academic challenges. So we're able to offer those opportunities to a much wider range of people, and that's really helped us out a lot. And I think it's helped some of the young people that we come across have a much wider range of opportunities in the military as they're able to increase their test scores and their qualifications quite significantly in that program. One of my commanding general's biggest initiatives since he came into command this October is the Soldier Referral Program. I don't know if many folks here have heard of that, but that was his big initiative coming into command, was how do we get the Army as a whole to really support our recruiting operations. So how this works, there's a QR code and a website that support the Soldier Referral Program, and that's disseminated across the entire force. We've asked all the soldiers at each installation to talk to everybody they come across. They then put in information on themselves and their units and their installations, and we're able to provide them with a ribbon for their contribution to our mission, and the younger grade soldiers were able to enable them to get promoted more quickly. So this is it's a tremendous increase to our ability to gain leads. In my battalion, we've already seen almost 200 leads in just short of a month. And so as that continues to build momentum across the Army, we think that's going to be really significant to us meeting our recruiting goals. And as Major General Jones and Major General Harder mentioned, really where we need everybody's help is to talk to everybody we come across. I think everybody here shares a certain perspective, but even in a military community, I don't think everybody shares that same perspective. So just talking to those young people that might not be considering the military or career service as an option, and discussing them some of the tremendous opportunities that we have in the military, and also those people in positions of influence over those young people, the school counselors, those influential teachers, those high school coaches that are in their ears when they're making those important decisions. Many of them don't see the military as a path to continuing education or to really get to where the young people want to be. But, you know, I can't think of a better way to propel your life into a life of success and higher education than joining the military. So, you know, it's both talking to those young people that we come across, but also making sure that those people that are influential in their lives are presenting that as a viable option for our young people. But tremendously appreciate your support, and I'm proud to be a member of this great community here in Columbia.
Thank you so much. And y'all remember, anytime you have an opportunity to bring in an Army recruiter, please do so for the reserves as well, too. If I'd have known in high school what I know now, I'd be retiring from the Air Force, I'm certain. So be a great career. So we're going to switch gears now and talk to some of our folks who are with the military support organizations come up. A man who needs no introduction, but I will introduce him, is Kevin Suedo. He is the civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army, and he also is very actively involved in all things military in Columbia. Great leader, great friend. So, Kevin, I'm going to let you take over.
Okay, because I have a brother in the Air Force, and I don't tell too many people that. I'll translate what Q was saying. The fact that he was in the Air Force Academy means he couldn't get into West Point or Annapolis. That might be because he wears pajamas to work. So inquiring minds want to know, are there footies down there and maybe bunny ears after work or what? That's what I thought. Okay, at least he admits it. I was asked to say something, and Mark did here a second ago, about the loss we had at the fort in Sergeant Major Smoke Anderson. Here's an individual that progressed all the way through every enlisted rank there was. He was an amazing man. He, like I say, was a Vietnam veteran, and he earned some of our nation's highest awards getting there. He earned the Silver Star, which is the third highest award you can get for heroism. He earned the Distinguished Service Medal, which is only exceeded by two Valorous Awards, the Distinguished Service Cross and the Medal of Honor. He was a Purple Heart recipient and also the ARCOM Medal for Valor. Again, Mark mentioned that he was a Hall of Famer. He was the president of the AUSA, and he was one of the most active persons we had in the community, and we're going to go ahead and miss him. And the only thing I would ask to go ahead and close up is that you keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers. It's a tremendous loss for our community. With that, I'm going to jump straight into I've got three priorities as the civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army. You've heard a lot about recruiting, so I'll keep this real brief. The Army's active component, let alone its reserve and its guard, is going to be short 15,000 people this year, period, end of report. Unless we do something in our community, this is that old, whatever called, kid throwing starfish back into the ocean. It's one person at a time. If you need a single point of contact to put anybody in the guard, the reserve, or the active component, you can call me, and all I'm going to do is throw the hospital pass to the right person. We've got to get more people on into the service. We talked about the scholarship program. That Minuteman program is available. I have two. The TAG has two. General Harder has two. Last year, we gave away, in terms of personally, 20. Why? Because we're thieves. And I'd be glad to talk to your team about thieving the same way. But we go nationwide to steal those scholarships and bring them right back here to South Carolina and we will help every university if they have racked and stacked them and got them approved either by that man or General Van in the back. So long as they are the quality you want to bring in, we'll find them the scholarships by hook or by crook because it's the right thing to do. With regards to support for all three components, we've got a really neat day coming on up here on the 9th of March, and that is going to be Army Day. We are going to grab the RCENT commander, the 3-star. We're going to grab General Harder, General Van, and we're going to grab General Kelly and their entire chains of command. And they're going to be recognized in the balcony by the House, by the Senate. They're going to go ahead and take a break, and they're going to have an opportunity to commingle with at least the Senate and hopefully members of the House. You don't get those. We don't have the authority to lobby, but when you put people together, they can answer every question that those military guys have, and we ought to make a great day of it. And if we do this right, we'll get a closing ceremony with the governor as well. The other thing I'd like to mention with active, Guard and support is that it's very interesting. General Jones talked about how his team is going to Horn of Africa. And I will tell you, if you don't understand the commitment between active Guard and reserve, JTF HOA, Horn of Africa, is commanded by General Harder's predecessor, Jamie Shawley. Most of you in here knew her. And that's a big deal because everywhere we go now, we're doing active Guard and reserve, and we need to focus our recruiting efforts on all of that. Soldier for Life, the last thing that I will say out here is that we have tremendous opportunities to go ahead and take these service members, men and women, out of the service. I told you before, and I'll repeat it, the governor signed a statement of support that basically says if you're getting out of the military, it's an Army program, but if you're getting out of the military and you qualify for any position in state government, you will get an opportunity for a courtesy interview. So please push people our way. We're trying to bring more of the military, not because we're altruistic. We're not. We're doing it because we get the best young men and women to support some programs that we need to have statewide. And let's see. Last one is vet success. We all know a veteran at some point in time that's got out of the military and is jobless. Their resume may not be as strong as it needs to be. But if they've got a 10% disability or greater, and that's almost anybody, the military, Department of Defense, will pay for an internship at virtually any municipal, county, state, or federal position for up to 6 months so that they can go ahead and build that resume. And I will tell you from personal experience, after hiring over 100 of them, I lose a full third of them at 2 months. Why? Because DPS hires them away from me. I lose another full third at 2 months because I put them in one of my jobs, and by the time we get to 6 months, every one of them has a job. So if you're looking for that opportunity and a point of contact, come see me as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. You always give such a great and full, robust report. And now it's my pleasure to call up Sandy Claypool from the South Carolina Department of Veterans Affairs. She has a very well-qualified team with her today. So, Sandy, thank you for coming.
Good afternoon. So, the department has the first South Carolina Veterans Experience Action Center on March 23rd through 25th. And I'm told what that is an opportunity for veteran service organizations, state and federal agencies, and others to come and show veterans and their family members and caretakers what kind of resources are out there for them. So it will be held at the South Carolina Armory, and I can get a flyer that I will send to Susan that she can send out to everybody. I was made aware of this right before I came out, so I wanted to include it, but I'll get you some more information on that. We are also working on, legislatively, we're working on remote enrollment, which is where service members will be able to enroll their children in school when they receive their orders for PCS. They don't have to wait until they actually arrive in South Carolina to enroll their child in school. They can do it as soon as they receive those PCS orders. The Military Enhancement Fund proposals, the next round of those grant proposals is due April the 1st, and then the one after that will be October the 1st. So if you are a county or municipality with a federal military installation, then you are eligible to apply for that grant funding, and there is more information about that on the South Carolina Department of Veterans Affairs website. Also in April is the month of the military child, and we are working to try to get a date for the proclamation. So we'll announce more about that once we get that confirmed with the governor's office. And lastly, General Grimsley is in the process of retiring, and General Todd McCaffrey is the nominee for the new Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs. He will go before the Senate committee on March the 8th, and then if that's a favorable vote, then he will go before the full Senate. They have a process to go through for confirmation, so that's kind of where we are in the process. You have any questions? I know everybody is run short at the last minute, so I was trying to keep it short. Thank you.
And from A to Z, if you need any help, look at the South Carolina Department of Veterans Affairs. They actually have all of their help services, jobs, anything you need. If you're a veteran, Sandy and them can help you find that. So I'm going to call up Ms. Jennifer Harding from the Employer Support for the Guard and Reserve. She has a robust job.
Good afternoon. So Colonel Q, the mission that he described, where there was concern about employers and their soldiers being on the soccer fields, that's exactly what the mission of ESGR is, to make sure employers understand what our citizen soldiers do. So if you're an employer and you have not signed a statement of support, or if you would like my committee to come out and brief your company, your HR folks, on what the laws under USERRA are, please contact me or the committee. I'm going to ask Susan to circulate our QR code. That is the statement of support that you as a company can sign. This is a formal certificate that you can display in your organization showing that you support what the Guard and Reserve do. So please help us by signing a statement of support. I will say that on March 22nd, the Department of Defense and the state of South Carolina will be awarding the Charleston County Sheriff's Department with the highest award given by the DoD, which is the Freedom Award. Only 15 of those are presented annually, and South Carolina received 2 last year and 1 this year. So that's pretty amazing. And so that is on March 22nd with a formal presentation to the Charleston County Sheriff's Department. And if you'd like to be invited to that, we'd love to have you. And with that, that's all I have, Susan.
And thank you, Jennifer. We appreciate that. And to all the companies out in all of our partners who do employ our reserves, we thank you so much, because they couldn't do what we do if you didn't support them, protect their jobs, and keep things going for them while they're gone. So thank you for that. Jennifer has a great team that goes throughout to make sure that everybody knows their rights, whether you're a Guard member or you're one of the employers. So we thank you for that. If you ever want to volunteer with us, let us know, because we have opportunities there as well. And so we're not running late, y'all. We still have 10 minutes, so we got a lot of information to share. Jared, I'm going to call you up and let you tell us what all good things that the university is doing, awards you won, and the veteran support you're offering.
Thank you, Susan. It's great to be with everybody today. Hope you're all doing well. You'll have to bear with me. This February pollen's already getting the best of me. But just a few updates from USC, some of the highlights and recognitions we received in the last 6 months or so. We were recognized as the #1 Best for Vets college in the country by Military Times, and they are the gold standard in terms of assessing universities and colleges nationwide and how they're supporting and serving their entire military-affiliated student population. We also received the 2022 William Pearson Tolley Champion for Veterans in Higher Education award in January at the National Student Veterans of America National Conference, and that is their most prestigious award. And then also our Student Veterans Association chapter on campus were recognized as the 2023 Chapter of the Year, and our chapter president, who's a Navy veteran and also a military spouse, is in D.C. right now advocating on behalf of more than 800,000 veterans in higher ed across the country. So we're incredibly proud of those. Also, to just brag on Army ROTC on campus, they received the MacArthur Award earlier this year. They were in the 4th Brigade, so they were the first battalion in 4th Brigade, beat out 37 other universities in this brigade to include Clemson, and now they are competing against 7 other units from around the country to be recognized as the best Army ROTC battalion in the country. So huge, absolutely. So huge accomplishment. Congratulations for Lieutenant Colonel Dan Roush and his entire team, who work incredibly hard every single day to build and train and develop future officers in the Army. A few things we have upcoming, some events. The U.S. Army Field Band will be performing at the Koger Center on March 13th at 7:30. It is a free event. You can call the Koger Center and go ahead and put a hold on some tickets now, or you can show up the day of and get your tickets then. But that should be a great event. We also started a book club on campus. It's called Words and Warriors. So we've got our 3rd edition of that on March 17th at 8:30 a.m. in the Veterans and Military Center of Excellence on campus. That's open to everyone in the community. We've had a few active duty soldiers from Fort Jackson come out and attend, and so that's a really good engagement opportunity as well. 50 Strong, they are our premier employer partner. We were one of the founding academic partners with them back in 2020, but they develop career pathways for veterans, service members, and military spouses. They have several Fortune 500 corporate partners who are very intentional in their hiring efforts with the veteran and military community. They will be on campus. We had them last year in April. They're going to be on campus this year, May 3rd. So if there's any companies that want to come and listen to some of the C-suite executives with their corporate partners and hearing how they're attracting, recruiting, and more importantly, retaining this highly attractive talent pool, we encourage you to come to that as well. They'll also discuss the DoD Skill Bridge program, which is an incredible opportunity for service members with 6 months left on their contract to get some civilian sector experience before they fully separate out of the military. And so that's a really strong program. We have our Joint Service Commissioning Ceremony May 4th, which is an incredible event. It'll be on the Horseshoe at the university. Anyone that would like to attend that, you are more than welcome. That's open to the public. Also, I skipped over one, Army ROTC. They're hosting a car show at the Guard Armory on April 1st, and so that should be a great event as well. What time is that? 9 o'clock. And Kevin, you're a judge, right? Gotcha. Okay. All right. We'll scratch Kevin being a judge. But anyways, if you're into cars and want to come out and attend that event, that'll be great. All the proceeds from that event are going to the Major Murphy Edward Memorial Fund. So he is one of our alum who were killed in action, and so we're doing everything we can to honor his legacy and provide financial support for current and incoming Army ROTC cadets on campus. And then we actually have an event tonight at Still Hands Brewery. It's just a happy hour event. It's 5:30 to 7, so if anyone is interested in grabbing a beer after work, would love to see you later tonight. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I believe that is it. Although I will say I'm not a recruiter, but just to piggyback on some of what they've shared, I was very fortunate. I got on the Marines in 2009. I got my undergrad and my MBA at USC. Didn't pay a penny out of pocket using my GI Bill. So there's a huge benefit to serving. Not only that, in 2019, the university, this was a big win and supported by a board of trustees, but we lowered our military tuition rate to align it with tuition assistance, so $250 per credit hour. So if you're a part-time student, that's what you're paying. If you're a full-time student, you're capped at $3K per semester, which is a steal. So, and that's open to anyone that's actively serving. Also, one policy change we implemented in 2020 If you are a South Carolina resident and you graduate high school and you're willing to do what very few will, which is enlist in the military after high school graduation, we created a side door access for you. And so after 2 years of service, you can be enrolled at the University of South Carolina without having to submit any entrance exam scores. And so we just want every South Carolinian who does decide to serve in our great military to know that they have a home at USC. And under the leadership of President Amaritas and Provost Arnett, who joined us last summer, we're very excited about the opportunity and potential we have to further enhance everything we're doing to not only support our student population, but also continue to work with the many great community partners who are with us today to develop new relationships and partnerships and strengthen already existing partnerships. So I think that's it, Susan. All right. Thank y'all.
And congratulations to Jared and Colonel Rush and all that for your great work that you're doing at the university. General Harder, you sent us Shane Beamer, but I want you to know that what made them have a winning season was the military appreciation football game when General Jones and General McCarty and all of our military folks went out there and did the Gamecocks. We beat Tennessee, we beat Clemson. They're going to be cheerleaders on the sideline from now on, so they are our hidden weapon, yes. So they like their green, they like their end zone green. So, but yes, thank you for all the great work. And I don't make light of that because they are doing amazing things, and it's showing, and we're achieving victories on a regular basis. So we thank you for that. And now I'm going to bring up one of our favorite folks that brings cheers and joy and smiles to military folks all over. So Katie, come on up.
Good afternoon, everybody. Like Jared, I am not a recruiter, but how we are supporting our recruiters is starting Friday. We are going to be celebrating National Oreo Day. So you will see us all around town, all across the state in our giant Oreo costumes, delivering family-sized packages of Oreos to service members, including our great recruiter. So we'll see you, Colonel Q, out at McIntyre on Saturday. Hopefully you're ready to wear that costume. So we're looking forward to celebrating that. So you'll see a lot of that. Our partners at Dominion here, thank you to you all for helping us renovate and reopen our center at the Columbia Airport. We serve currently about 6,000 service members a month through that location. So if you're traveling through the Columbia Airport, please stop by, come and see us. We love to show off what we do. We have our center upstairs in the main terminal just before the security checkpoint. And then we also have our location downstairs in baggage claim with our leather recliners and our video gaming systems down there. And then last but not least, we have started a new program. I'm really excited about this. We just had our first instance of it last week. Great success. It is a global USO program, so we like to say that service members know they can count on the USO, whether they're here in Columbia, South Carolina, Poland, sir, with your team going there, sir, with your folks in the Sinai Peninsula, wherever they go, they can count on the USO, and now our military spouses can also count on the USO through our new program called USO Coffee Connections. So it's a way to get spouses together to chat, make new friends, see what they can do, learn about the community, and just have fun together. So follow us on social media to learn more about that program. So you'll see and hear a lot about that. So thank you so much.
And here again, we just couldn't do what we do in the military without the support of the USO, from reading to children and video and send it home to the partnerships with, we have barista and our Starbucks people and Lowe's and everybody. You wouldn't believe the contributions that come in to the USO so that we can share them back with our military men and women. And it really makes a difference. So thank you for that to all of our volunteers, Tammy and everybody who come out with Dominion and help us with Victory Block Leave and all the other activities. We thank you so much for that. If you want to volunteer with the USO, go to USO South Carolina and you can look and see the requirements and the opportunities there. So Nancy, I'm going to switch it up just a minute. I'm going to call on General Burns and let General Burns come up with, he's got a 30-second infomercial to talk to us about with the USA Continental Soldiers Burial. It is going to bring a lot of national publicity. It is a very sacred event. General Burns?
Thank you.
Thank you.
When Susan asked me to come up, she said, General Burns, what's the difference between one of your speeches and an onion? And I said, what is the difference, Susan, between an onion and my speech? And she said, nobody cries when they cut your speech in half. So I've got a few seconds to talk. Stacy, if you'd come on up. We support our military in Kershaw County because we know that people aren't in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard. They are the armed forces. And we're about to do something where we celebrate our great militia heritage. As you know, there were two major Revolutionary War battles fought in Camden, and in the process of expanding those battlefields, we discovered some of America's heroes that had not been given a proper burial. It is our aim to do so. Stacy, just a quick update, and then I'll give up the podium, please. Stacy Ferguson.
So it's been a great honor to stand by the side of our Americans First veterans as we make sure that they receive the honor that they're due, and it's been great to be part of that. Thanks for the Army, the state, the National Guard, who's covering all the ceremonial duties for this, Honor Guard, and other things. Thank you also to the very generous support of the USO. Katie, good to see you. They are helping us feed and provide morale for the over 100 military folks that are going to descend upon historic Camden, where I work. And then we could use your help for a few things. First of all, we need volunteers, and a lot of them. Individuals, groups, scout troops, VFW, whatever your group might be. I've got a few of these flyers I can pass around, so I'll be back here in the back afterwards. Come get a flyer from me. Also, we're going to be doing a military vigil. So all those that are wearing the uniform are going to be standing by our veterans for the 30 hours between when they arrive back on the historic Camden property until they are taken by case on up to the Presbyterian Church for their burial. So it's veterans like me and our active duty folks that are going to stand by them that one last time before they get put down to rest. We're also still looking for, we have a Veterans Connect initiative, so as everybody goes through and pay their respect to the flag-draped coffins, we know it's going to bring up some trigger some powerful emotions. So we've got a Veterans Connect initiative. Let's see, so Dorn VA Medical Center is going to be sending some folks. Wounded Warrior Program is going to be sending folks for a little while, but we could use some more help. Counselors, chaplains, or just good listeners who are willing to sit and let as we process our feelings about this together. And any other support? There's certainly opportunities for businesses and other organizations that are interested in getting involved. So please hit me up, and I'll give you my business card. And then last but not least, if you're don't know about the Camden Burials Project, I implore you to see our website, and it's www.camdenburials, that's burials with an S.org. You can see all the stuff. We're getting national media attention to include National Geographic, so it's going to be a big deal. Whether or not you're going to help us volunteer, and you're not going to want to miss it, so I hope you'll come out. Thanks.
And Stacy's one of our real heroes for getting this done. We have about 4,000 to 5,000 people coming, to include the old guard from the Tomb of the Unknown. Our Adjutant General and DTAG have been more than helpful. We're going to have the Air Force do a flyover from Shaw, and we're going to have your great Apaches doing a memorial flyover. It'll be great. So come to Camden the 20th through the 22nd of April. Thank you, Susan.
So many awesome opportunities. So we'll be sharing all this information with you back out at your email so everybody can have it. We also have some flyers on the back if y'all want to take a look at those. And Nancy, we would not be in this beautiful building if it weren't for the South Carolina State Fair. So Nancy, I'm going to let you come up and say a few words. It's amazing the work that we are able to do because of what they do for us. So thank you.
It will be very brief. I know we're out of time and everyone's very, very busy, but first of all, if I had known all about the Oreos, I would have had fried Oreos. You just have to give me a heads up next time. I did not know, so my apologies. But I want to say thank you. I know that sounds very small, but thank you for everything you do. It's an honor to host you here. I've had the honor of working with many of you over the past few years. I've been here forever and ever and looking forward to many more. But one thing I did want to share with you about your South Carolina State Fair is that we are a 501c3, and I've heard many people talk about scholarships. Well, guess what? Another opportunity for you, our scholarship, Ride of Your Life Scholarship Program opened February 1st through March the 15th. 15th. If you know a graduating senior that will be attending an in-state school or university, feel free to ask them to go to scstatefair.org. And we will offer $300,000 in scholarships, and we're hoping to up that, so stay tuned for some more information shortly, but just to let you know that we are in this together. The fair is October the 11th through the 22nd. You know, I couldn't get up here without saying that. But also, if you have some yumminess for those fried Oreos and some other things, you may want to mark your calendar for April the 15th through the 22nd, where we'll have our 4th annual fair food drive-through. But more than anything, again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as my mother, who passed away in 2021 at the age of 104, said, you know, don't ever forget to be thankful for the very many, many blessings that our great Lord showers upon us every day. And for that, you know, it's never too early for us to all remember each other, to pray that we will have safe goings wherever we are. And I would appreciate that from your South Carolina State Fair as well, because nothing is more important than us protecting each other. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you for being here, and looking forward to a great year together.
And what a great way to end the meeting. Blessings to everybody. Prayers for our military here and far. Thank you all for being here, for everything that you do. Anything I can do or the chamber can do to help you out or to help you accomplish your mission or meet somebody else here to accomplish your mission, please let me know. Thank you to our partners and our military members. Have a wonderful day. Be blessed. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, everyone.